In today's episode, someone trusts me with a power tool. I talk dirty,
So I want to put this somewhere discreet.
and end up bursting a blood vessel.
The BMW 2002 is an iconic 70s sports saloon, but with these old timers now reaching the half-century mark, unfortunately their numbers are sadly dwindling. But there are those amongst us determined to bring these badass Bavarian beauties back to life, and in this series, I hope to join that club. Feel free to check out some of the other episodes. I'll leave the link for the playlist in the description below. But for now, let's crack on with episode 2. So because I fitted E24 seats to the back, the rear parcel shelf doesn't fit anymore. Not that this car even came with a rear parcel shelf, so we were going to have to make one anyway. But this one's going to have to be a little bit customized. So what I've done is I've actually cut out a cardboard version or prototype of the rear parcel shelf. And if we slot that in, something like that, we can actually see that that fits pretty nicely. So my plan is to cut this out of wood, probably like a 6mm MDF, and then wrap it in some leather, maybe with a little bit of a foam underlay, drop a couple of 6x9 speakers in the back here, and that should be looking pretty sweet. All right, and here we go. Nice new rear parcel shelf cut out of MDF. Now, because obviously this is fairly firm and rigid, I can't kind of slot this in anymore. So I'm gonna have to slide this in from the front, which just means I need to fold these seats forward and do it from the inside. Okay, a moment of truth. I think if we twist it like that, and then should just, oh yes, look at that. Gosh, you'd almost think I'd know what I was doing. Perfect. Well, it's not quite perfect. I like the way that the armrest is just near the top of it there. That's kind of the way I wanted it. But if I fold this down, you can actually see, if I get my shed out of the way, a little bit of a gap between the shelf and the top of this console. Now, I actually trimmed this down. Normally it has an extra piece that sort of sits up about here, but I've trimmed too much off. So I've got that piece. What I'm thinking of doing is actually cutting it again and bonding it to the top of the shelf so that when the shelf comes down, then the two pieces meet and there won't be any gap there. So let's give that a go.
I'm attaching a thin layer of upholstery foam, affixed with some spray adhesive to help give the leather some depth and body. And to ensure a snug fit around the backs of the rear seats, I'm going to fold the foam around the front of the parcel shelf.
In terms of speakers, I've just gone for something that's got a classic look to it in terms of the grille. I didn't want anything with like teeth and fangs and stuff like that. So these Pioneers have got a nice classic, just black grille. They're a 450 watt, 4-way speaker. There you go. I don't even know what they are. I'm not an audiophile, but I just wanted something that looked good and had a decent sound. So these will be going in.
Retrimming items in leather can always be a little bit daunting, but a slow, measured and logical approach will usually get you results. This piece of black automotive leather was just 40 bucks a metre from my local auto upholstery supply store. Well, there we go. Do you reckon I missed my calling? Nah, me neither. But it does look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the finish on that. One problem, I've cleverly covered up the holes that I'd carefully marked out on both sides, no doubt. So I'm going to have to go find those, and then we'll drop the speakers in and see what it looks like when it's done.
Well, I have to say I'm pretty chuffed with that. That little layer of foam's kind of given that pillow look around the speakers, which is really cool. But before I go any further and put the final grills in and all that kind of stuff, let's head back to the workshop, get this in the car, and make sure we're happy with everything that we've done.
A few moments later.
All right, moment of truth. I've got the holes in the rear parcel shelf. They're already done. I also went and bought some of these, what do you call them? They're like speaker pods. Just really simple polystyrene. The idea is that they keep the sound in there. You get a crisper sound, stops any dirt coming from in underneath. And they kind of just slot in there like that. Now for the parcel shelf. So let's see if all our measuring has been for naught. That's looking good. Well, that's looking pretty amazing, even if I do say so myself. Very happy with the fit on that. We can actually drop in the speaker just to see what it looks like. Around about there with the trim piece. Magnificent. Now, one of the concerns I had is the proximity of the trim to the back here where the window sill is actually going to be in place. Now, I have the window sill with me, and it's going to fit something like this. And you can already see that it's a little bit tricky to get this in place with this speaker grill where it is. Now, once it's in, it's fine. It's about 2 mil away. Whew. Very lucky, we kind of got away with that one. But I can't go any further with this until the back window is put in. So I'll get that arranged, have someone come and put these back windows in, probably do the front at the same time, at least we can seal the car then, and then we can bolt the rear parcel shelf into place. But in the meantime, let's find something else to do. Now, it's not uncommon in classic cars to fit something called a kill switch or a master switch. And the reason for this is that often these cars aren't driven every day, and so the battery can drain down. It also acts as a kind of pseudo security device. Basically, all it is a big fat switch that runs in line with your positive power supply and just kills power to the car, basically isolating the battery. You can take the key with you, and then people won't be able to start the car, hopefully, unless they have one of these keys. But anyway, you can fit these anywhere. Sometimes people put them in the dash, but I want to be a little bit more discreet. I've got a few ideas for the dash that I want to do, but there's a spot under the back seat which is accessible by the driver, which I think is going to be perfect. So let's go pop this in. And when I'm talking under the back seat, I'm talking about this little panel here, kind of around about there. I think that would look pretty sweet. We'll install it from the back, so it'll just be this little pole sticking out and then the little red key hanging off there. And as you can see, with the driver over here, they'll be able to just reach their left arm back behind the passenger seat, flick the switch and get ready to go. We'll have these little beauty caps to finish it in the end, but obviously we'll wait until the carpet goes in and the pièce de résistance. Perfect. Okay, that's another job ticked off the list. Now, another job that we can get done today is fitting a wiper stalk, which of course didn't come with the car, but I've managed to source one locally from my friend here, which is fantastic. A couple of you in the last video said the wiper button on the dash was missing, but in the later models they changed to a wiper stalk mounted on the steering column. So all I have to do is 2 bolts to attach that to the steering column, plug it in, and assuming that this works, which it should, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's another job ticked off the list. Let's crack on with something else, specifically the battery tray install into the boot. And it looks a little something like this. So a very nice kind of billet tray. It's got a couple of poles that kind of go around the edges, and there's even a little bracket like that which goes along the top, and will look very, very clean indeed, sitting on top of the custom carpet that I've got going into the boot. Now we want to fit it at the back here, just about there. So I think that's going to look pretty good, kind of around about there. We've got plenty of height at the back so that the battery can still fit in. But the next thing I need to do is make sure that there's nothing underneath here, because I need to drill 4 holes to mount some rib nuts so that we can bolt this down. So it looks like I need to get under the car to make sure I'm not going to drill it into anything crucial. And it doesn't look like there's anything of importance right in that exact spot, so we should be good to go. I just don't have the strength. Holy shit. Right, I've had to do a little bit of lateral thinking because I cannot get a purchase on the rib nut gun. So rear parcel shelf is out and hands are through the speaker holes. And this doesn't feel awkward at all. Here we go. And muscles. Yep. Oh, let's not do that again. All right, let's get the battery bracket bolted to the car. Well, despite being an absolute pain in the bum, I think that actually looks pretty good. Don't forget there's going to be a fitted carpet that sits in here, and I'll have the tray sit on top of it so that it looks nice and clean and fresh. What do you guys reckon? All right, on to the next thing.
Day 3.
Well, it's the next weekend, and it looks like during the week Secret Squirrel business has been going on, because now we have installed windscreens in the front and the back of the O2, which is absolutely amazing. These are notoriously difficult to install, so a massive shout out to Swan Auto Glass. If you're in the Perth area and you need a glass fitter, these guys have a 5-star Google review and do amazing work. For those playing at home, I went with the URO seals. A little bit more cost effective and still do an amazing job. Not sure about these leftover stickers on the windscreen. I think we'll get rid of those, although I kind of like that one. Might hold on to that. But what it does allow us to do now is to crack on with installing the speakers, getting the rear parcel shelf bolted in, situated, and that will be done. Of course, this makes it all a little bit trickier to work on with the glass in the way, so I apologize for the camera view at the moment, but let's get this out. I'm going to use the screws that hold the speakers in to secure the parcel shelf. So I'm just drilling a few little guide holes so we can put those straight through. Now this little bit of foam at the back is just to raise the back profile, just to fill in a little bit of a gap. I've also got some spacers that I'm going to pop in. But let's get this guy in. Okay, with the parcel shelf back in, I'm just going to use a small drill bit and just make sure I've got the holes lined up. Ah, yeah. And that one's there as well. Okay. I have a feeling this is going to fight me, but let's try. Get the speakers in. Wish me luck. Just going to poke a little hole at the back for the wires. Somewhere around about there, I think. Actually looks pretty good. Has this worked? We've missed the hole. All right, let's try that again. Oh, I feel a bite. Yep, that's in. Oh yeah, look at that. That is rock solid. So those two front screws are through the actual parcel shelf of the car, so that's holding everything in place. I'm happy with that. The rear screws, they're just going to go through the wood because they don't really need to do anything apart from hold the speaker in place. And saying that, I've just realized I didn't put the grille fascia on, which is supposed to be screwed on, and the screws are already in. Brilliant. Anyway, I'll fix that, get onto the other side. Should be job done. Well, I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to get those in. I might need to find a better tool. It's amazing what you can find in a fully stocked workshop. Look at this little guy. It's like a little right angled screwdriver, ratchet, majiggy. It's like it was made for the job.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day.
And behold the finished product. Now, I'm no upholsterer, but as someone once said, if a human can take it apart, a human can put it back together. And I, for one, am really pleased with the way this turned out, as well as the other things that we got through in this episode. So if you've got a little project on your car that you've been putting it off, just give it a go. You might surprise yourself. I know I did. And on that profound life message, that wraps up this episode. If you've enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and absolutely leave me a message. Let me know what I've done well or what I could do differently. I'll try and drop one of these episodes once a month, but until next time, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I really hope you love me.